Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. Talks archives again this week with clips from a discussion about teaching effectively online. Also, small note, you may have noticed the title of this one includes the topic instead of the number. This should make it easier to preview and review episodes without having to look in the description. The older episodes on the portal will also be updated to reflect this. Happy listening!
For me, I teach in my actual classroom where I teach all my other classes. But personally, in my experience in America, whenever I was teaching at university, I taught a little bit of online classes. And I noticed during that time that I have totally different energy levels when I'm sitting down in front of a computer versus when I'm standing up in front of the computer.
Ah.
So whenever I'm sitting down, I'm like in this gamer mode where I want to play a game, I want time to pass, and I'm just blah. But if I stand up in front of the computer, then that forces me to be more professional and
Right.
more alert and more energetic too, which I find much more useful for keeping children interested in staring at a computer screen for 40 minutes.
Yes, of course, knowing the lesson that you're going to teach, that's very important.
Right.
And yeah, and also keeping with the student, because it requires, like with me, when teaching smaller kids online, I have to have a lot of energy, and it's a bit like difficult because you're teaching online and then they need to see your whole face. So I need to stand up and then, okay, let's jump, and then they will not see your head or something like that. So make sure like your face still be shown in the camera, and then the audio should be good, because there are times that your students cannot hear you clearly. So it's really important to have, like what Joel have mentioned, to have a test run before your lesson itself. So yeah, I think that's the thing that I can share when teaching remotely.
As far as like student feedback, sorry. Um, it's still pretty feasible for me just to ask them questions and get feedback from their questions. And also, when we're doing the writers, Unit 9 writers are really easy to just say, okay, show me your work. And then they hold up their writer in front of the camera, and I'm usually able to see
Right.
what it is. I'm not able to like find or finally proofread, so to speak, like I would do for units 21 and up, where you've got the creative writing, and I want to check, okay, are they saying a balloon is blue or a balloon blue? If they're missing little words here and there, that's not something I can feasibly do for all of the students. But in those cases, I'll just have the students read what they wrote and give them feedback on their writing from that case. So usually I'll ask about it in question form that's relevant. So if they're having to write creatively about a balloon, then I'll say, okay, so and so, tell me about a balloon. And then they get to tell me what they wrote for their answers.
So some of the strategies that is effective for me when teaching smaller kids is the use of like props, same as what I'm doing when it comes to on-site, because kids loves to hear different, especially when telling stories. So they love hearing different voices, and like I'm going to like be animated even in camera and something like that. So yeah, because the attention span of the smaller kids just about 20 minutes or 15 to 20 minutes, and my lesson is 40 minutes. So I make sure like when I see the kids, because it's upon the, like, as a teacher, it's up to us, like when you see the kids, you have to really check on them, like you have to have the full view of the camera and always check on them. But if you share the screen, like of course, if you have many students, you will not see everybody, right? So make sure you just have to take a look at them, scroll down, while just do multitasking, just to make sure that everyone is listening with you. And if you see that the students are not being engaged in what you're doing, make a transition, even if it's not in the lesson plan. So just make a transition. So yeah, because teaching remotely and on-site, I mean, online is really hard, like really, especially in smaller kids. So you just have, as a teacher, You have to do multitasking, checking the cameras if there are like they're running around or what they're doing. So you just have to call their attention. So what I do is like, oh, like I call the specific name. So please turn on your camera. I want to see your beautiful face, something like that. So
for props that I typically use in online classes, I'll use puppets for any activity where it says, do something with a friend. Obviously, hop like a rabbit with a friend. Well, if I'm the only one in front of my camera, I don't have a friend with me. But then I'll just grab a little puppet and, it'll be my friend, and I encourage the students to do that too on any activity where they have to do something with a friend, even unit 3 where it's like, give it to a friend. I'll encourage the kids, okay, find a friend, where, they can use a puppet or a little soft toy or whatever else. And they'll have like an eraser or something else in one hand and the friend in the other hand. And, they'll give it back and forth that way to kind of practice the activity.
Question about your experience. So when I was preparing some questions for today's talks, I was thinking, oh, what should I ask? And normally, we ask like, oh yeah, can you share, any success stories or challenges, memory experiences? Those are just some ordinary questions. So I was thinking this question. Have you discovered any unexpected benefits or opportunities through remote teaching that you didn't anticipate?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first if that's all right. One of the unexpected opportunities that I've seen with it is the first time kids start talking about weather is one of the coolest things online. But that's partly because I've got my Unit 9 class has students that are in totally different regions in Japan. So they have different weather whenever it happens.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.